Grant money is helping an East Texas school district teach electrical trades. The Moody Foundation awarded a $95,000 grant to Winnsboro ISD. KLTV7's Jamie Boyum shows us how the money will end up helping some high school students.
Winnsboro High School electrical technology instructor Jimmy Bland has been teaching electricity at Winnsboro since the class was initiated 3 years ago.
That's something that I've always had a heartbeat for, because locally now the electricians, and this is an area that is in need of electricians.
His classes will give students a head start heading to college with dual credits available, or with certification, maybe even a job straight out of high school.
We wanted to give them the knowledge and wisdom to be able to go out and perform the work correct and safely.
Bland developed the present program and uses a single instructor model trainer, but training stations are about to get more sophisticated.
Through the grant money that had been provided to the district and the support of the district, we're able to get those trainers, which is going to prepare these students for the further their career in the electrical field.
Junior Case Saucier plans on continuing with electrical work after graduation.
I kind of either want to be just an electrician or an electrical lineman. My family's more people in my family have been doing that.
The class learns schematics and then goes hands-on, wiring circuit breakers, outlets, switches, and lighting. Last year, they even wired a house. But the coming training equipment can teach them even more.
We'll be able to put problems in there, and then the student will have to diagnose the problem.
Bland will be able to input as many as 3 problems in some trainers. The trainers run from about $3,500 to $18,000, so the bill came to
$127,950.
The grant was for $95,000, and the school district came up with the rest. So soon, the class is pretty much going from 110 volts to 220. Jamie Boyum, KLTV 7 News.
And the new training equipment will be built after the orders are placed, and the school district hopes to have them in the classrooms by Christmas.